Nani.
Yeah.
Most of us, when we think long enough about it, can find something that makes us feel a little alien.
We can't go on together with suspicious minds.
While we may not find that everyone around us feels alien for the same reasons, that feeling of differentness, of not fitting in, is near universal. We pretty much all share this experience on planet Earth. For some of us, it may be some aspect of the way our brain fires that makes us a little neuroatypical. For another, it could come from viewing the world differently than those right around us in our culture. It could be how we look physically to others, or we might feel inadequate as we compare ourselves to seemingly perfect lives portrayed in our social media feeds. But at the end of the day, that feeling that remains is that we are different and perhaps unwanted the way we are.
That's the ugly duckling. See, he's sad because he's all alone and nobody wants him. But on this page, his family hears him crying and they find him. Then the ugly duckling is happy because he knows where he belongs. Want to listen to the king? You look like an Elvis fan.
Lord Almighty, feel my temperature rising. Higher, higher, it's burning through to my soul.
What is that monstrosity?
It is the flawed product of a deranged mind. It has no place among us.
Touch controls the weather.
I don't know which way to go.
You're crazy.
Everybody calm down.
At the crossroads of an alien-filled cosmos and the beauty of Hawaii, we watch as Lilo and Stitch struggle to fit in. One of my favorite authors and speakers, Brené Brown, teaches about what comes up in us when we make the effort to fit in and our efforts result in a failed experiment.
We are hardwired for love and belonging. We are hardwired physically, emotionally, cognitively, neurobiologically, for many of us spiritually, hardwired for connection. It's what gives purpose and meaning to our lives.
Are you gonna play dolls? You don't have a doll. This is Scrump. I made her, but her head is too big. So I pretend a bug laid eggs in her ears. And she's upset because she only has a few more days to...
Shame is the belief that we are unworthy of connection, or the fear of disconnection. And the fear is ultimately that we're unworthy of love and belonging.
That's us before. It was rainy and they went for a drive. What happened to yours? I hear you cry at night. Do you dream about them? I know that's why you wreck things and push me. Our family's little now, and we don't have many toys. But if you want, you could be a part of it. You could be our baby, and we'd raise you to be good. Ohana means family. Family means nobody gets left behind. But if you want to leave, you can. I'll remember you, though. I remember everyone that leaves. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. No, I'll be good. I want to dance. I practice. I just want to...
Love and belonging, irreducible needs of men, women, and children. Where there's an absence of love and belonging, there is always suffering. And so standing in the way for us is shame.
Lost. Lost.
Brown also teaches that there is some value in distinguishing between the process of trying to fit in versus achieving a sense of belonging.
We're wired for love. We're hardwired for belonging. It's in our DNA. But let me tell you what belonging is. The opposite of belonging, from the research, is fitting in.
Elvis Presley was a model citizen. I've compiled a list of his traits for you to practice.
That's the opposite of belonging. Fitting in is assessing and acclimating. Here's what I should say, be. Here's what I shouldn't say. Here's what I should avoid talking about. Here's what I should dress like, look like. That's fitting in. Belonging is belonging to yourself first. Speaking your truth, telling your story, and never betraying yourself for other people. True belonging doesn't require you to change who you are. It requires you to be who you are. And that's vulnerable.
The difference here is that while we should always be working on being a better person in our relationships, belonging doesn't require us to sacrifice our true selves in unhealthy ways. I love how, despite being different and the need to work on themselves, Lilo and Stitch learn to understand and appreciate each other's uniqueness, and they begin to complement each other's lives in beautiful ways. Now, there's a very challenging so what here. All of this implies that one of the prerequisites for a true sense of belonging in life is to practice vulnerability. And that requires great courage. What a scary thought that is, right? That it's okay to be different and to show our true selves, even if it means risking rejection.
How many of you want more love, intimacy in your lives, joy? You can't have that if you don't let yourself be seen. How can you let yourself be loved if you can't be seen? Does that make sense? Vulnerability is the path back to each other, but we're so afraid to get on it. How many of you love someone? Right. Are you 100% sure that person will always love you back, will never leave, will never get sick? How many of you have ever buried someone you love? How many of you have lost someone you love? To love is to be vulnerable. To give someone your heart and say, I know this could hurt so bad, but I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to be vulnerable and love you. And there is an increasing number of people in the world today that are not willing to take that risk. They'd rather never know love than to know hurt or grief. And that is a huge price to pay.
There's a very hopeful message that I like in the movie Lilo and Stitch. Is that as we practice empathy and vulnerability and authenticity and appropriate self-correction and healthy compromise to make relationships work, that the universe has a way of bringing us together with souls who can see us. These may not always be the people we were given initially, but the universe has a way of helping us find our belonging. Again, this doesn't mean that there isn't learning and compromise and struggle, but there are currents, if you will, that will inevitably bring us to where we can belong.
You're the cause of all this. If it wasn't for your experiment 626, none of this...
Stitch.
What?
My name Stitch.
Stitch, then. If it wasn't for Stitch...
Does Stitch have to go in the ship?
Yes.
Can Stitch say goodbye?
Yes.
Thank you.
Who are you?
This is my family. I found it all on my own. It's little and broken, but still good. Yeah, still good.
So do you sometimes feel like an alien on planet Earth? You're not alone. We all experience this feeling. For Lilo, it was missing social cues and having strange interests. For Nani, it was the overwhelm and the sense of failure that came from being left in a role she felt unsuited for. For Stitch, it was behavior that set him at odds with practically everyone else in the known universe. We've all got something. But despite those things, we can learn to belong to ourselves, and as we do so, we can practice the vulnerability that allows us to belong with others. I've linked some thought questions in the notes of this video if you'd like to go a little deeper with this topic, but let me throw a couple out to you as we end today. What is one small step you can take this week to be more vulnerable and authentic in your relationships? How can you practice healthy compromise in your relationships without sacrificing your true self? In what ways can you cultivate more courage in your life to embrace vulnerability? What fears do you need to confront to make this possible? If you like the intersection of mental health and stories on screen, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and throw a like down below. See you next time.